Good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, the evidence in this case will show that Michael Jackson literally put his life in the hands of Conrad Murray. The evidence in this case will show that Michael Jackson trusted his life to the medical skills of Conrad Murray. The evidence will further show unequivocally that misplaced trust had far too high a price to pay. That misplaced trust in the hands of Conrad Murray cost Michael Jackson his life. On June 25th, 2009, Michael Jackson was pronounced dead. He was just 50 years old. He died alone in his bed on the second floor of his Holmby Hills mansion. In the house at the time were the defendant, Conrad Murray, and Michael's 3 young children, and some staff that helped run the home. The coroner's office soon took a very active role in the investigation, not only performing an autopsy, but doing detailed toxicology analysis to determine what caused the death of Mr. Jackson at 50 years of age. And what we learned through that investigation is that propofol, lidocaine, diazepam, a metabolite of diazepam called nordiazepam, lorazepam, and midazolam, all testing positive in the heart blood, all administered by Conrad Murray on June 25th, 2009. Further investigation by the coroner's office through statements, through interviews, through the autopsy, through the toxicology findings, led to the conclusion that the levels of propofol found in Mr. Jackson's body were at levels similar to general anesthesia when someone is put under for a surgical procedure. Now I want to talk about what the evidence will show in regard to Michael's final days. What you'll learn is that on June 19, 2009, Michael showed up for his rehearsal, and he was not in good shape. He was not in good shape at all. He had chills, he was trembling, he was cold, he was rambling, and Kenny Ortega, the co-director, co-choreographer of the production, from whom you will be hearing directly, was concerned. He had never seen Mr. Jackson in that state previously. He will tell you that Michael did not rehearse that day that he sat. He will tell you that Michael was cold. He put a blanket around him. He provided him some chicken to eat. He massaged his feet to try to warm him, but that Michael ended up going home early that evening and not rehearsing because of the state, the physical state he was in. No medical documents were recovered, and when they were subpoenaed and requested, the only documents provided related to care months, if not years before. No medical records documented any of this care at 100 North Carrollwood. This is an extreme, egregious violation and represents gross negligence standing alone. Basic common sense requires that 911 be called immediately. Basic common sense. And we know that was not done. This is another extreme deviation from the standard of care and amounts to gross negligence. What the evidence shows existed here was an employer-employee relationship, where Conrad Murray was working not for the best interest of Michael Jackson, not for the health of Michael Jackson. Dr. Murray was working for $150,000 a month. He was an employee. He acted as an employee. He did not act as a medical professional using sound medical judgment. Whatever theory the defense puts forward, whatever evidence the defense puts forward, it will be clear that Conrad Murray abandoned Michael when he needed help. It was Conrad Murray's gross negligence. It was Conrad Murray's unskilled hands and his desire to obtain this lucrative contract of $150,000 a month that led Dr. Murray not only to abandon his patient, but to abandon all principles of medical care. Conrad Murray's actions, Conrad Murray's omissions to act, directly caused the death of Michael Jackson. And at the close of all the evidence in this case, after he's absorbed all the facts in this case and absorbed the law in this case, the people will ask you in no uncertain terms to return with a verdict of guilty for the solitary crime charged involuntary manslaughter, premised on the gross negligence of Conrad Murray. Thank you.